In the 2008-2009 school year, an 8th grade student named Christopher Schleicher proposed to me that if he read 1 million words through the Scholastic Reading Counts program, would I take him out to lunch? I accepted that challenge, and Christopher reached the 1 million mark, and we went out to lunch. In the following school year, Isaiah Scheuer first participated as a 6th grade student. That year, he reached 2 million words read. As a 7th grader, Isaiah reached a mark of 3,872,631 words read in one school year. When he came into this past school year, 2011 and 12, he had set himself a goal of 10 million words read. Keep in mind that this is beyond his normal schoolwork. Isaiah has reached that mark of over 10 million words read, and we'll be going out to lunch next week. Isaiah, how did you end up setting for yourself this goal of getting to 10 million words?
Well, first of all, when Serena Bolt, an 8th grader last year, read her 4.2 million words,
yes,
I told myself, okay, she left her mark on the school as an 8th grader, I want to leave mine. So I decided that I just wanted to blow hers out of the water and get some unrealistic number that people would remember. And I decided to shoot for 10 million, and I did. And I chose numerous books over the school year. Some of them I saw other people reading who maybe liked the same genre as I, and I would pick them up and start them, and I just finished them, and I liked them. And the biggest series I read, it was the Wheel of Time series. And I actually ended up going on the computer, and I typed in the search bar books similar to Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
And that was one of the ones that came up. So I figured, okay, I'll try it. And I didn't plan to finish the whole series, because there's one more book that's going to be coming out. But now that I got so far into the series, I feel that I have to finish it, because a series is like one big book, and if you don't finish the series, you don't finish the book. So when it comes out, I'm gonna finish the series, and I'll figure out how it ends. And I'm hoping I'll enjoy the end.
The Scholastic Reading Counts program is used to get students to read so many books a quarter. How has that program itself motivated you to continue reading so much?
Well, you figure if there wasn't a Scholastic Reading Counts program at this school, there wouldn't be any records set, and then there wouldn't be any goals to achieve. If there was no Scholastic Reading Counts, Christopher Schleicher wouldn't have proposed the million-word challenge, and then Serena Bolt wouldn't have gotten her 4.2 million words, and I wouldn't have had to shoot for 10 million. I mean, sure, I could have said I want to read however many books, but it wouldn't be the same as reading
There'd be no mark
words.
And no way to track it.
Right.
Yeah. And have you found lots of books through Scholastic that you weren't aware of or that you really enjoyed?
Yeah, actually the Missing Children series, the first book is found, and I saw that at the book fair, and quite a few people bought it and they liked it. And I looked at it and I wanted to buy it, but my mom said, well, let's see if they have it at the library first. And they did, so I reserved it at the library, and I picked it up, and I read it, and that was in 5th grade, I think. And I just took the test this year, actually.
From the book you read?
In 5th grade. And I finished most of the series this year. I've got one more book left. And then the Inkheart series, that was one of my other favorites that was published by Scholastic. And I actually saw a 7th grade student reading it, and I thought, well, she likes it, and I figured I might as well try it, so I did, and I liked those ones too.
One of the first series you really got going on was the Redwall series.
Yeah.
And I think there's over 20 books, is that correct?
Yeah, there's 23. 23
books, and that definitely we have through Scholastic, and then those books have been on the Scholastic Book Fair shelves every time that it comes through. Have you been a frequent shopper of Scholastic Book Fairs?
Well, if I see a book like this year, there was the buy one get one free deal. So I thought, okay, well, this book I like, and this book is on the teacher's wish list, so I'll get this one and then get this other one free, and then I can read the one that I got for the teacher, and then give it to her, and then I can read the one that I got for myself and then give that one to her too. The first one that I read, it was The False Prince, and I enjoyed the book. It was a good mind bender to wrap your brain around because it was unexpected twists and turns. And then The Whisper was the other one. And that one wasn't a book test, but I liked it anyways, and it was a good book.
What is your preferred genre to read?
I like fantasy and medieval theme fiction.
And do you have a favorite book in particular or a favorite series?
The Aragon series. It's by Christopher Pelloni or something. I really liked that one, and I actually just finished the series this year. It was recommended to me by Serena Bolt.
Okay.
Ironically. And the 4 books I read, I think, in a couple months over the middle of the school year.
Okay.
And then I also liked the Inkheart series.
And those are,
There's
3 books in that series, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Inkheart, Ink Death, and Ink Spell.
Do you have any advice for students who don't like to read?
Well, first and foremost, if you're going to read a book, pick up A, a book from the genre you like, and B, a book that you don't think is too far out of your reading level. Because if you pick some, 900 page book up, and you start it, and it's not the genre you like, or it's too big or confusing for you, well, then you're going to have trouble getting through it. If you pick up a 300 page book, and it's a genre you really enjoy, well, if you really like the genre, you should be able to read it in a good amount of time. So don't choose books that you aren't going to enjoy reading.
Have you noticed some of the students will pick up a book and page through it to look at how many pages are in it, and they'll get to 150 to 200 pages. Oh, that's too long, I can't read that.
Yeah.
I always say to those kids, don't worry about the length of the book. If you love the story, the book will be too short. The longer the book, the better the story is kind of how I feel about it.
Yeah.
And I think you're the same way, judging on the length of the books that you choose, that you tend to read.
Yeah.
What about any other words of advice for students who do love to read?
Well, if they enjoy reading, I would say keep reading and go for the 1,000,000-word challenge. If Mrs. George sets up this challenge and you think you can hit it, do it. Because when I went into the school year and I wanted to get 10 million words, I didn't really think that I couldn't get it. I figured that I would get it. And I decided, okay, I'm going to read 10 million words. And if you like to read the books that you're reading and you feel that you can hit 1,000,000 words or more, go for it.
You and I had talked a little bit ago about something that we both have realized when we pick up a book that we don't really like. What do you do when you have a book that you're starting to read and you don't really care for it?
I close it and put it down.
Yep.
I don't continue reading it because if you're reading a book you don't like, the book will drag on, and you'll feel like you'll never finish it, which is good if it's a book you like, but you don't want it to drag on and on. You want to keep reading it because you enjoy it.
Right. And I'm always worried that if you try to hang with a book that you don't like, then it becomes drudgery and it's not fun, and then you're less encouraged to want to read the next book.
Yeah. If you're reading a book you don't like and you keep feeling that you have to finish it, well, you're not going to enjoy reading as much after that book, especially if you do it with almost every book you read.
Right.
So I think if you're going to read a book you want to read and one that you know you'll enjoy.
And what are your reading habits like? When do you read? How often do you read?
Well, I know that you know that during the Outsiders movie and when you were reading the book to us, I would have a different book in my hand reading, or when we were grading the papers from that book, I would be reading my book. So actually, I've still got a few blank spots on the Outsiders packet that I've still got to fill in because I was reading while we were sharing our answers. But whenever I get a chance, I'll read. I have to want to read, though. If I don't want to read at that time, I won't be able to enjoy the reading that much.
Do you read in the car?
Yes.
Do you read at the dinner table?
Yes, a lot.
Do you read going to bed at night?
No, not as much.
Okay. Do you read in the morning while you're brushing your teeth, getting ready for school?
Sometimes, but I'm not a big time morning person unless it's the weekend, ironically. I don't want to get up for school, but on the weekend I'll get up bright and early.
Okay.
But it depends on how late I get up. If I'm going to be late for school, I won't read while I'm getting ready for school. But if I'm up bright and early, sometimes I'll read.
Well, and as a teacher, it's sort of hard to discipline a student who's reading while you're teaching because you want students to read, but yeah. We've had to curb you a little bit with time and place on that. But yeah, you're able to track lots of things going on at one time. And all the books that you have read, you said a few minutes ago you're starting book number 75 today?
77.
77 this morning. Excellent. While you've maintained a 4.0 GPA, you're active in the church, you're active in the youth group, you're active in after-school activities here. You're doing a lot. Yeah.
Well, I enjoy all of the things that I do. I tell myself, Isaiah, maintain a 4.0. You can do your reading, but keep track of your priorities. It's all in priorities. If you put reading above your grades and you aren't putting as much effort into your grades as you are in reading, well, your grades and GPA will suffer more than your reading abilities. So if you enjoy doing things, just make sure you prioritize them in an order that you know is best for your achievements.
And what would you like to be when you grow up?
Sometimes I think I'd like to be a writer, but then when I'm writing, I am writing a book right now, and when I'm writing, I don't lay out a storyline.
Okay. You just go with it?
Right. So that might pose a little bit of a problem if I decide to write, because if you don't have a storyline, you can tend to lose track of
Right. You need sort of a roadmap on where you're going and how you're going to get there.
Right. And then I also just love working with animals, so probably anything with animals would be another option for me.
And high school plans are?
I'm attending Lake Country Lutheran. I've got myself registered for that, and I'll be taking the placement test for math and Spanish on June 2nd. I have art survey as one of my options, and I don't remember many of the other ones. I think I have a business one because my mom wanted me to have no study halls, so I picked that one. I didn't really have much of a say in the matter. She said, you do not get a study hall, just pick another class. So I did, and
there you go.
We'll see how that turns out.
And by the time you're a junior or senior, you better sign up for college writing.
Probably.
Yes, absolutely. Do you have anything else you would like to share or add?
Well, I couldn't have done any of this without God's help. He gave me the talent. He gave me the ability. So all the glory goes to him. Without him, none of this could have happened. I couldn't have read a single one of those words if he hadn't been with me.
Awesome.
Yep. So if you feel you can be a big reader and you know that you can do it and you want to, go for it.